Hey, good morning, Keller Williams. Well, we're back. I know last week I was out because it was our spring break here, but I know some of you are out this week because it's your spring break there. Who knew school district could cause such a headache? Guys, I'm super excited. The reason I'm excited is it's been way too long, and I want to take a couple minutes to get you really excited. Guys, we have Bold coming back, and Bold was probably pivotal in me actually getting my business off the ground in real estate. And I am super excited for you as agents to get to do something that's going to really help and develop the activities, the habits, the traits needed to continue growing in your business. And so there's a bit of a plug here. I really think every single agent should take Bold. I know it's not cheap, but it's cheaper than it has been in the past. So, and Dusty is fantastic. I mean, that guy's energy is like cocaine level. No, I'm just kidding, Dusty. I know you don't do drugs. Red Bull level, heavy Red Bull level. So, guys, Bold is coming April 1st, and I want to take a couple of minutes to talk about how we can prepare for that and set up our technology in a way that's going to make that more successful. So, let's get going here. So, we've got Bold coming up. Let me get my screen going. All right. So I want to talk about in command a couple things. So those of you that haven't taken Bold before, those of you that have, and it's been over a year and a half since any of us have touched a real Bold. Bold Pivot was great, but this is much more true to form with it. We know that a big portion of Bold is the accountability and activity tracking. So how can we prepare our command today to be more successful come April 1st, and when we're tracking those activities and making sure that we're doing what we need to do? Well, my first thought as I was going through this is I want to know the contacts that I talked to during the Bold coming up and see the return on investment of speaking with those specific contacts. So I came to the realization that, as always, whenever we need to segment out our database, we need a tag. So anybody that hasn't seen some of the other ones, this will be a great opportunity for you to take a second and see, again, how to make a tag. Let's come in here to command. We're going to go over to our dropdown, and we're going to go to settings. And we're going to go to command settings under contacts right here. And then we're going to go to contact tags. So much like our DTD2 series that we did, we want to create that tag beforehand. If you're creating it as you go, it's not as easily added to things, and it's not quite as smooth as it can be. So if we can work ahead a little bit, it makes life easy. So let's just create a tag, and we're just going to call this Bold. And we know that if they're tagged with this, we communicated with them and started the process in Bold. And as is appropriate, we're going to make it purple. So we're going to create that tag, and now we've got this Bold tag. So what are we going to do with it? So inside of our contacts, anytime I have a communication or I'm working with a client or someone actually responds, I probably wouldn't count my one-way communication, but if I have some two-way communication, I'm going to tag them Bold so I can see the return on investment 6 weeks after Bold starts that, man, I had this many conversations, which led to this many transactions, which led to this much money. And I think return on investment is super valuable. In fact, the second part of this this live stream is going to be looking at some software that I've started implementing that I really love. It helps me understand my return on investment for each individual transaction. And yes, I have talked with the product heads about stealing everything from this website and incorporating it into commands. So give them time. But so let's say Allie, which I can always use Allie because if I mess up her contact too much, she won't be too mad at me. So if I come in here to Allie and we have a two-way conversation and we're talking through some real estate, she says, hey, I don't know anybody. We have to refer. Doesn't matter. That contact is made. We can come in here and we can add a bulk tag and we'll pull up our Bold, which is right there. Great. We've tagged it bold. And now at the end of bold, I can go back and see every single person I've had that two-way conversation with and begin managing and understanding how our relationships with that worked over that time and our return on value there. Now, you can also do this for transactions. So inside of our transactions, our opportunities, we can come in here and we can create opportunity tags. And I think this is a great idea. This is a great opportunity for you to understand the activities that they teach in bold lead to this production. So if we go in, let me not mess up my team stuff. Let me come in here to my personal pipeline. If we grab an appointment, we'll go with good old Joe Blow. He never makes any mistakes. And we want to start tagging. We can come in here to custom tags. And I don't have one yet, but I can just type in bold, create it, save it. Now, when I'm looking at these opportunities, I can say Joel Blow came from bold. That came from bold. We understand that bold helped us get to this transaction. And so this is a really useful tool in helping to see the return on investment, see the money come back in, and you will. Let me be honest. I've made all my money back and some every time I've taken bold, and we'll be taking it again. So this is a great opportunity to understand your data. And this is one of those really powerful tools to be able to say, all these transactions came from bold, all these conversations came from bold. What activities did we do well in bold that we can continue using throughout our conversations? So one more cool little update. This is a really small update that came out, I think last Thursday. And it's really powerful because a lot of you right now are tuning me out because you're like, I don't want to do all this digital stuff. I love bold because it's got a handwritten paper. That's fine. Handwrite everything out. And then you can come into your database and bulk select people. So we'll do Allie and Allison. And we can go in and add activities. So we know that this last contacted section is based on an activity. So if you put a note in, if you put a call in, if you put a text in, that last contacted gets updated to today's date. So last contact for Ali was February 4th. If I come in here, I can now use an add bulk activity. This is a small update that's super powerful. It's also really powerful if you have an event. So if you host an event and a bunch of people come in and they sign in maybe on a piece of paper or whatever, you can come back in later, select all of them and hit that add activity. So what does that look like? So we're going to hit that add bulk activity and we're going to say we had a meeting, an event. And let's say we spoke about bold. Great. And we'll hit save. Now on both of those, it's going to get updated. I'll probably need to do a quick refresh and we will see that they've now been contacted as of today. And this is really good for those situations, especially some of y'all that have these crazy open houses where like 1,000 people are coming through at once. You need, and they're signing in on a piece of paper. Go back in, update the contact. You can bulk add and say, showed the open house at whatever ABC Street. So this is a really cool update. It's very small, but very powerful because this allows me to know now that my last contacted people, when I sort by this, I last contacted Allison and Allie. This is also really good for keeping track of those numbers in bold, and so you don't get any fouls. So I'm excited about this. I think this is a great opportunity for you to kind of begin using these technologies in a way that we haven't in the past. And it gives you the opportunity to really see your value there. So that's bold. Just a couple little quick tidbits to prepare for that. I'm super excited. If I find anything in between now and even in bold, we're going to have some conversations around how to best use the technology to leverage a successful bold. I've had some questions around bold 100s and things like that. We're working on some cool ideas. So this is something simple. I know a lot of y'all are on your spring break, so I didn't want to get too crazy with that. But try this out. Build those tags. Have them ready to go. So come April 1st, when we hit the ground running and you're making all those calls, you can keep track, and it's easy to keep our notes together. The second part of this stream, I want to talk about a software called Realty Zam. And this is not command related. It's not KW. It is a third-party product. It is just realtyzam.com. They I had a pain point that I needed to fix. So my pain point was I couldn't figure out a way to understand my return on investment per transaction. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, when I was going in through my notes and I knew I spent $50 on a closing gift, $150 on photography, maybe $150, $250 on Facebook ads. I want to see what my return on investment per listing is. And I couldn't really narrow that down yet in Command. And so I found this awesome software. It is, they have a 30-day free trial. I would recommend you test it out and see if you like it. I've really enjoyed it. They have a mobile app as well that I'll show, but I really love this because it's really important in business to know where your money's going and in what return are you getting on that money. I have a lot of new agents that'll come in and they'll say, "Yeah, we got this listing, and I run a media company, so they're like, we want to do all of this media and stuff." I'm like, "Great. Um, if you don't mind me asking, are you going to make enough money to pay your taxes, pay your bills, pay your fees, and all of that advertising that you're doing?" And sometimes the answer is no. So I love this because it's super visual. And as a visual person myself, I find it incredibly valuable. So this is Realty Zam. I put a link in the description. They sent me a discount coupon for $10 off. I emailed them. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to talk about y'all. Can you send me one?" I don't know if that's a referral link or a discount code. They didn't really explain that. But feel free to share whatever you want to do on that. So I just want to take a quick drive through this, though. This has been really helpful for me. I haven't gotten all my transactions in yet, but I've put a lot of them in, and it helps me to kind of see like what's moving, what's not, what needs to be kind of addressed. And so inside of the sales activity, we can come in and I've got all of our stuff that's under contract, including referrals, which is super nice, and our upcoming listings or buyers, and then our closed stuff. So I can come into these independent transactions and start putting costs. And that's really what I wanted to see. I wanted to see what was my money at the end of the day. And so a few of these, I started putting some stuff in, and we've got some costs. You can see that this is the estimated commission fees. We can come into our expenses and just start adding expenses. We've got advertising, desk fees, education, MLS fees, anything you think. I think most of them per transaction are going to hover around advertising because that's a majority of our job is marketing and advocating. So I do spend a lot here, but this helps me to kind of start seeing these costs. Also in our fees, we can come in and take in royalty fees, national fees, referral fees, anything you want. You can put in your splits with the brokerage, all sorts of things, and you could really start to make an understanding of what your bottom dollar is and if you're in a good spot. I found this really powerful with me. So, for instance, we've had some contracts we were negotiating, and at the end of the day, in order to get the contract done, we needed to decrease commission to make it happen. The seller was going to lose a bunch of money. Now they're losing a little bit less. So I can come in here and grab this guy, and we can make some changes to the commission. So simply put under contract, and then we would come in and update our price. So we did negotiate for a lower price. And then we did lower our commission. And we need to put a brokerage fee. We get our franchise fee in there. And save. And so now we've updated this. And so we've got this beautiful, easy to use system that kind of helps us understand where our money went. And now this is a buyer. We don't usually have as many costs. But let me show you how you can attach expenses to a transaction. And this is where I find the fluidity of it is really, really nice. So in the expenses section, you can attach your credit card or a bank account or both, and it will automatically pull those in, and you can start to categorize them. So for instance, this says I have all of these transactions to categorize. But we're going to come down here to one of our turtle adoption kits, which this is what we give to every single client. And I know this one went to our transaction. So it is an advertising cost because it's a gift. And then we're going to tag a listing and a buyer. So that went to this specific transaction. And we're going to say seller side gift. Save. Now, the cool thing with that one is we actually had on that one the buyer side gift too. So we can come in here, advertising, tag listing and buyer, exact same transaction, and say buyer side gift. So before and we're not going to sit here and categorize all that stuff, and I can do that later, but it starts to show you your costs and your situations that are where your money's going, because it's really important to understand where our money is going. But what I want to do is come back to that transaction. So we see now that we've attached those sales to it, and we can see our profit. And we can go back in and add our Facebook advertising, our cost for media, and things like that. And this really helps us to narrow down our overall finances on that one transaction. They also have a cool iPhone app. Let's see if this will play nice. So here's their iPhone app. It's super simple. You can use it for mileage and expenses and meals and things like that. I literally just use it for the transactions. So you can come in here to all those different transactions. So there's that one we just talked about, and we can click in there. There's those expenses we just changed, the $112, and we can see our profit. So super easy to use. You can create it on the fly. I like that it tracks referrals. I find that super valuable, especially with if you've got multiple people going out and coming in. It will track referrals on both sides. So this is a super easy software. I think you'll enjoy it. I would love, just try it out, see if you like it. It's not going to be for everybody because not everybody's micromanaging their numbers at the level that some of us do. So try it out, see what you like. But yeah, it's a great software. I found that it worked really, really well to help me understand my numbers and what I was getting in my things. And a good shout out to Justin Willman. He's the one that put me onto this software, and it works fantastic. Guys, I don't want to go too crazy today. I know a lot of y'all are traveling for spring break. I hope y'all have a great and safe time. If you have any specific questions, if something here didn't make sense, if you have some other software that you're like, hey, will this work in my business? Will this help me? Ask me, and let's have a conversation around that. If you're having a problem with something specific, I'll put my information in the comments below. You should have it, tim.lester@kw.com. My Calendly is available if you ever need to book a time to have a conversation and look at a problem. We're doing everything we can to really take you all to the next level. One side note I would like to make specifically to our Midland and Lubbock offices, we have made some major feed updates around those. So if you are seeing issues with your app, with listings that are closed and still on there, or listings not showing up, please let me know as soon as possible. We're working with the product head at KWRI to make sure that that data is as accurate as physically possible. So if you're having issues, please reach out and let me know. Guys, have a fantastic Monday. I hope you all do a great job, and let's sell some ton of houses. Have a good day, guys.